Now we're getting into a very serious topic, which is, how does an individual become a magician? How does an individual become a magician? In reality, I've got lots of videos which I wanted to show to you, brothers and sisters, but what I think we will do, inshallah, I'll try and get these videos put up onto the Peterborough Dawah Facebook page, and you brothers and sisters can watch them. But let's talk in general, because what I'm going to mention now, I'm sure you're not going to believe it. What I'm going to mention, I think it's so outrageous that perhaps there might be somebody who says, no, this can't be true. This can't be real. So that's why it's important that we watch the videos, because we have video evidence of what these people do. The first thing, the first step in an individual becoming a magician. And I mentioned my sources, and it's important that I tell you concerning my source for this as well. One of my sources. A brother used to be a magician. He went through all of these stages. And it's incredibly rare for an individual to come back from magic. He's gone so far, it's very rare for him to come into Islam. But Allah guides whom He wills, and He misguides whom He wills. وَيُضِلُّ اللَّهُ مَن يَشَاءُ وَيَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ. Allah sends astray whom He wills, and He guides whom He wills. So this individual relating this story, first hand, okay? So it's not something in a book, it's not something else, this is first hand, and it's come from an individual who had to do this. The first thing, brothers and sisters, is that we need to understand. The magician, he needs to know that what he is doing is kufr. He needs to understand what I'm about to do, this journey which I'm embarking on, to learn magic and practice magic, it's disbelief. It's disbelief. If he doesn't acknowledge this, then the magic is not going to work. Then the shayateen are not going to work for him. The first thing this individual needs to do, usually, is he needs to do what's known in our societies as a chilla. I'm sure people have heard of this. A chilla. I'll tell you, I talked to you about this. This individual, he goes into a cave. He goes into a place which is very deserted and there's nobody around. And the brother, he mentions, he says, I went to a cave and I drew a circle on the floor in this cave, which is in a remote location. I drew a circle on the floor and I sat in this circle for 40 days. I sat in this circle for 40 days and I was not wearing any clothes. In this circle, I used to eat. In this circle, I used to defecate. In this circle, I used to sleep in his own excrement. He says, when I reached the filthiest levels, worse than the animals, he says that the shayateen, they began to appear to me. The devils, they began to appear to me, to teach me elements of this knowledge. He says, so they taught me elements of magic, gave me like a taster. I said, I want more, teach me more, teach me more. They said, we are not going to teach you more until you go and commit zina, a'udhu billah, until you go and fornicate. But not just any fornication. They said, you have to go and do this with either your mother or your sister. A'udhu billah. So he says, I went and I did that. I went and I did that. And then they taught me a bit more concerning this knowledge. They gave me some more of this knowledge. And he said, every single day I would have to sleep. Brothers and sisters, they may live next to us, they may live on our streets. He says, every day I would fill my bath full of rubbish, full of excrement. And then I would lie and I would sleep in this situation. I would lie in this bath which is full of rubbish and full of dirt, full of filth. This is how I have to live. These people who you see on TV, you know, Dynamo and Chris Angel and these other people, millionaires. They may be millionaires, but you need to understand, for them to be practicing magic, they have to sleep in this situation. They have to live as a filthy, filthy individual. Otherwise, the shayateen, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything for them. I have videos on here. Other things that the magicians, they do. And I don't like to mention this, but we need to understand. They take the Quran, they take the Mus'haf, which we read from. They take the Qur'an and they throw it into the sewers. They take the Qur'an and they use it as toilet paper. A'udhu billah. They take the Qur'an and they rub it in menstrual blood. Brothers and sisters, this is their reality. And like I said, you probably won't believe me. I will show you the videos, inshallah. We will put the videos onto the Facebook page. This is their reality. This is their reality. Likewise, they will sit in an enclosed space, in the dark, burning bukhur, and they will whip themselves. Whip themselves like the Shia. Why? Why are they whipping themselves? Why is an individual doing this? Why is he sitting in this filth? Why is he doing this with his own sister? Why does he sleep in this situation? Brothers, what you have to understand, the devils, they want you to lower yourself. The same way we fall down prostrate to Allah. We don't prostrate to anybody but Allah. They want you to prostrate to them. The same way we break down and we raise our hands and we cry in front of Allah in the depths of the night, begging for His forgiveness, making dua. This is from worship. This is from worship. They, the shayateen, they want that individual to be the same. Total obedience from this man. Think about it. If a man is willing to eat his own excrement because he wants to learn magic, then of course he is somebody who is devoted. He is somebody who is devoted to the cause. They will only teach you this magic if you are 100% devoted to this cause. Take it as a principle. Take it as a principle. Take it as a qa'idah. The shayateen, they will not work for an individual unless he calls other people to shirk. Okay? The magician, if he's in his front room worshipping the devils, his magic won't work. His magic won't work. The devils won't work for him until he starts to call other people to the worship of others besides Allah. Now in reality, you're not going to go to this man and he's going to say, bow down in front of Iblis, bow down in front of that idol. No. Brothers and sisters, remember, worship is more than just salah. Worship is more than just hajj. Worship is more than zakah. Worship is things like taking an oath by Allah. We don't swear on our mothers' lives. We don't swear on our children's lives. The Messenger ﷺ said, whoever swears by anything other than Allah has committed shirk. Think about this. Next time you want to swear on your kids' lives, next time you want to take an oath by your mother or by anything other than Allah, remember what the Messenger ﷺ said. You cannot raise your mother up to that station. Allah in the Quran, He swears by whatever He likes. He says, وَالْعَصْرِ وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything. He can take an oath by whatever He likes. He created everything. As for us, we only take an oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the magician, like I mentioned, his magic won't work until he calls other people to shirk. So he will say to you, bring me a sacrifice, bring me a goat, bring me a sheep, and I'm going to sacrifice it. He'll take it to the graveyard and he'll sacrifice it at the graveyard. Or he's going to say to you, bring me a rat, or bring me a mouse, or bring me a cat, and then he will sacrifice that to the shayateen. I had a video of a man who they caught and he was a magician. And he describes and he shows how he takes a bird and he slaughters the bird to the devils. And then what he does is he throws the bird up. After he slaughtered it, he throws it up straight away. And of course the bird is still moving, it's still temporarily alive. And as it flaps its wings, its blood covers him and the whole room. And this is how he calls upon his devils. And then he shows the sheikh, he shows how he sleeps in a position of prostration to the devils. He says, this is how I sleep. And he sleeps prostrating to those devils. I don't want you to think that this happens in some caves in Arabia somewhere. This type of thing is in our societies, in our communities. It's in and around us as we speak. In and around us as we speak. It's not uncommon for the man to have a beard, to carry a Qur'an with him. But when he prays, he doesn't pray in wudu. I had one situation Where, and I just give you these case studies and these examples in order for you to understand. This is real life. It's not some fantasy, not from books. A man, he divorced his wife and he had 5 daughters or 7 daughters with this woman. He said to her, all of your daughters, they're never going to be happy. So he would do magic on his own daughters. This man is a practicing man with a beard. They said he used to carry a Quran around with him. We took the Quran, we opened the Quran, and his magic was in the Quran. He was carrying this Quran to show the people, I'm a holy man, I'm a holy individual. But he was doing magic, and his magic was being done inside of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mentioned earlier, I said it's a principle. Nobody knows about Islam except that he will use Islam to perform his magic. And we're seeing what we're talking about now. Because he knows about this. This is the Quran. He knows this is the Quran. How can I get close to the devils? What's going to be a route to get close to the devils? What do the devils hate the most? The book of Allah. So how do I get close to them? How do I please them? I disgrace the book of Allah. What do the devils hate most out of the men? The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So what do? I mock his sunnah. I mock him. I mock his sunnah. This is how they get closer to the devils. This is how they use Islam in order to come closer to and to please the individuals, the shayateen.